Hi there. I'm so happy you're here today because we are about to pull back the curtain on a secret that has been hidden in plain sight for over a century. If you've been practicing the law of attraction, but you still feel like something is missing, like you're shouting into a void and the universe just isn't listening, it's because you've only been given the light version of reality. Today, we are going deep into the secret doctrine of Helena Blavatsky and the ancient wisdom of the Kybalion to understand why your words are failing and how to finally master the substance of your life. I spent years as a strategist in the corporate insurance world, and I can tell you everything I learned about risk and security was a lie. I discovered that we aren't living in a world of solid objects and fixed destinies. We are living in a holographic projection that Blavatsky called Maya. Most people spend their whole lives fighting the reflection in the mirror, wondering why they can't change their bank accounts or their relationships. But as an independent strategist, I realized that you don't change your life by working harder on the outside. You change it by rewriting the blueprint in the unseen. In this video, I'm going to show you how to stop being a victim of the illusion and start being the architect of the invisible. We'll talk about how to break ancestral patterns of poverty, how to survive identity transition when the world tells you to be realistic, and how to use the forbidden code of the masters to command your reality. Stay with me until the end, because I've curated a list of books in the description that will help you decode this mystery, along with a free material to guide your daily alignment. Subscribe to the channel now if you're ready to move beyond wishing and start commanding. I'm Caroline, and it's time to wake up from the Maya. Maya and the illusion of scarcity, the Blavatsky perspective. Let's dive deep into the rabbit hole, and I mean deep. If you've been hanging around the law of attraction world for a while, you've probably heard people say that thoughts become things. But usually they say it in a very superficial way, like you're placing an order at a fast food drive-thru. Today, we're going to talk about the heavy artillery, Helena Blavatsky. She was a powerhouse who challenged everything the world thought it knew about reality. She brought back an ancient concept that is the missing piece in your manifestation strategy, Maya. In her secret doctrine, Blavatsky explained that the physical world we see, touch, and most importantly, worry about is actually a grand illusion. It's a holographic projection. She called it Maya. Now, as a strategist, when I first understood this, it changed my entire approach to life. Think about your bank account or that job you hate. Blavatsky would tell you that the lack you see there isn't actually real. It's just a temporary densification of your past thoughts. It's a shadow. But what do? We treat the shadow as if it's a solid wall. We bang our heads against it, we cry over it, and we let a shadow dictate our worth. Let's talk about debts and money, because that's where the Maya feels most real, right? When you open your banking app and see a negative balance, or when those credit card bills start piling up, your brain tells you this is a life or death situation. Your nervous system goes into a full-blown panic. But here's the strategist's secret. That debt is just a karmic shadow of who you were yesterday. If you react to it with fear today, you are just feeding the illusion. You are telling the universe that the debt has more power than your consciousness. I've seen people, and I've been there too, who work 80 hours a week trying to outrun the debt. They are trying to fix the shadow. Blavatsky would say you're wasting your breath. You don't fix the debt by working harder. You fix it by withdrawing your belief in its power. You have to look at those numbers and realize they are just pixels on a screen, a fleeting configuration of energy that you have the power to remold. This brings us to the identity transition. This is the hardest part of leaving the corporate world or changing your life. You aren't just changing your job, you are trying to break the Maya of your old self. I remember when I was transitioning, I had the director title, the fancy office, the security. My Maya was very comfortable. When I stepped out into the unknown, the illusion tried to claw me back. I felt like a nobody. I felt exposed. That's because my identity was entangled with the reflection in the mirror, not with the creator behind the mirror. Blavatsky teaches us that your personality, the you that has a name, a resume, and a social security number, is just a mask. It's a garment. If you want to achieve forbidden levels of success, you have to be willing to burn that garment. You have to move from being the woman who struggles to the master of the substance. You have to command the reality to densify around your new identity before the world gives you a single reason to believe it. And then there's the family dynamic, which is the stickiest part of the Maya. We all have those ancestral shadows. Maybe your family has a history of hardworking poverty. Maybe your mother always said, money doesn't grow on trees. Or your father believed that rich people are inherently dishonest. This is a collective Maya. When you try to break free and become wealthy or sovereign, you aren't just fighting your own doubts, you're fighting the vibrational gravity of your entire lineage. You feel a weird sense of guilt, don't you? Like if you become too successful, you'll no longer belong to the tribe. Blavatsky would tell you that this loyalty to struggle is the ultimate trap. It's a trick of the senses. You aren't being good by staying poor with your family, you're just staying trapped in the same shadow. Your only real duty is to the spirit, to the all that wants to express abundance through you. When you break the Maya of family struggle, you aren't just saving yourself, you're clearing the path for everyone who comes after you. I want you to imagine your life is a movie. If you don't like the scene where you're stressed about money or feeling lonely, you don't run up to the cinema screen and try to move the actors around with your hands. That would be insane, right? Yet that's exactly what we do when we try to hustle our way out of a frequency problem. You have to go back to the projection booth. You have to change the film, which is your internal state. Think about your relationships. Have you ever noticed how you keep attracting the same type of person, just with a different face? That's because your vibrational blueprint hasn't changed. You are projecting a story of, I am not enough, and the Maya is simply providing the actors to play out that script. It's not that there are no good people out there, it's that your current frequency makes them invisible to you. You are literally tuned in to a different station. Blavatsky'S secret doctrine is about learning how to change the dial. It's about realizing that the other person is just another reflection of a part of you that you haven't mastered yet. The reason most people fail at the law of attraction is that they are begging the Maya to change. They say their affirmations, but they are looking out the window every 5 minutes to see if the car has arrived. That looking is an admission that the illusion is still your master. A true strategist, an initiate of these ancient laws, knows that the physical world is a secondary effect. It is a lagging indicator. It's like the light from a star that died millions of years ago. What you see in your real life today is just the echo of what you were vibrating weeks ago. So why get upset about it? Why let an echo tell you who you are? You have to develop a certain kind of divine arrogance. You have to look at the Maya of your unpaid bills, your family's judgment, or your boss's disrespect, and say, I see you, but you are not real. You are a shadow, and I am the light that creates the shadow. This is where your power lies. You stop being a reactor, and you start being a creator. You stop being the employee of the universe, and you become the CEO of your reality. Everything Tesla said about energy and frequency fits perfectly with what Blavatsky brought to the West. The 369 is the mathematical structure of how the Maya is built. But before you can use the numbers, you have to realize that the screen is blank. You are the one holding the projector. If you don't like the movie of your life, stop complaining about the actors and start rewriting the script. In this journey of identity transition, you will feel the pull of the old world. You will hear the voices of your past telling you to be realistic. But remember, realism is just another word for obeying the Maya. As an independent strategist, I don't want you to be realistic. I want you to be sovereign. I want you to look at the forbidden levels of success and realize they are your birthright, held back only by the thin veil of your own belief in limitation. This secret doctrine is only secret because most people are too afraid to look past the illusion. But you're here because you're ready to see the truth. Mental Transmutation, the Kybalion in practice. Now, before we get into the how-to, I want to ask you something. Have you ever felt like no matter how much you study the law of attraction or how many vision boards you make, the real world just keeps punching you in the face? Like you're trying to be positive, but your bank account, your boss, or your family just won't let you vibrate high? Has this ever happened to you? If you felt like a victim of your circumstances instead of the master of them, I want you to stop right now. Comment Master of Maya in the comments below. I want to know who is aligned and ready to stop being hypnotized by the reflection and start commanding the substance. The Kybalion teaches us about the principle of mentalism. The all is mind. The universe is mental. This means that everything you see is just a thought form of the infinite. If the universe is mental, then you don't change your life with physical force. You change it with mental transmutation. This is the art of changing the vibrational degree of your mind. Think of it like a thermostat. You aren't stuck with the temperature the world gives you. You are the one who sets the dial. But I know what you're thinking. Okay, Caroline, I get the theory, but how do I apply this in my daily life? Then let's get practical. The first thing you need to master is what I call the neutral look. When a bad thing happens, let's say an unexpected bill arrives or someone criticizes your new career path, your instinct is to react. That reaction is you buying into the Maya. To practice mental transmutation, the moment that bill arrives, you have to look at it and say, this is a neutral energy configuration. It's just paper and ink. The heaviness you feel isn't in the bill, it's in your mind. You transmute it by immediately shifting your focus to the source of supply. You don't look at the bill, you look at the infinite field that Blavatsky talked about, which has no shortage of anything. You literally pull your attention away from the shadow and place it on the light. Another practical exercise for your daily routine is the identity shift during mundane tasks. When you're washing dishes or driving to a job you want to leave, don't do it as the struggling worker. Do it as the sovereign initiate. This is what the Kybalion calls the principle of correspondence. As above, so below. If in your above, your vision, you are a successful entrepreneur, you must bring that above frequency into your below, your current actions. Wash those dishes with the elegance and the internal peace of someone who already has millions in the bank. Why? Because the universe doesn't respond to your future intentions. It responds to your present state. If you wait until the money arrives to feel sovereign, you've missed the point. You transmute the now to create the next. Let's talk about family and social pressure. When you're at a family dinner and everyone is complaining about the economy or talking about how hard life is, you are in a vibrational minefield. Most people just join in because they don't want to be the weird one. But as a master of Maya, your practice is to stay vibrationally insulated. You listen, but you don't accept their reality. You mentally repeat, that is their Maya, not mine. You keep your internal thermostat at the degree of abundance. You don't try to change them, that's just more scrubbing the mirror. You change your reaction to them. When you stop being targetable by their scarcity, the spooky action kicks in, and they will either stop talking about those things around you, or they will simply drift out of your life. In your finances, try the precipitation script. Blavatsky spoke about how masters could precipitate objects from the air. While we are still training for that, you can precipitate opportunities. Every night before you sleep, don't just visualize, command. Use the principle of polarity from the Kybalion. Everything has its opposite. If you feel lack, know that abundance is just the other end of the same stick. They aren't two different things, they're the same energy at different degrees. Your job is to slide your mental slider from lack to abundance. You do this by feeling the presence of what you want instead of the absence of it. I used this when I was building my own business. Every time I felt a dip in my energy or a moment of doubt, I didn't work more. I stopped. I sat down and I practiced transmutation. I looked at the failure and I mentally turned the dial until I saw it as a necessary pivot. I refused to let the Maya tell me my story. I was the one telling the story to the Maya. Remember, the goal isn't to make things happen. The goal is to allow things to densify. You are a strategist of the unseen. Your work is 90% internal and 10% external. When you master the art of mental transmutation, you'll find that the external work becomes effortless. Doors open, random people call you with offers, and resources appear out of thin air. It's not magic, it's the law of mentalism in action. You've stopped being a slave to the reflection, and you've become the sovereign master of the projection booth. The precipitation of reality, from thought to matter. In the writings of Helena Blavatsky, there's a fascinating and often misunderstood concept called precipitation. To the uninitiated, it sounds like magic, the idea that a master could move their hand and make a physical object or a letter appear out of thin air. But Blavatsky wasn't talking about stage magic. She was talking about the ultimate engineering of the universe. She taught that matter is just spirit at its lowest point, and spirit is just matter at its highest point. As a strategist, I want you to understand that your goals, that house, that revenue milestone, that soul-level relationship are already precipitating from your mind into the physical world. The only question is, are you interrupting the process? Think of it like rain. Before the water hits the ground, it has to gather as invisible vapor in the air. Then it becomes a cloud, and only when the conditions are exactly right does it precipitate into a liquid drop. Your desires work the same way. When you have a clear, sovereign thought, it starts as mental vapor. But most people are vibrationally unstable. One minute they are thinking about wealth, vapor, and the next minute they are crying over a bill, dispersing the cloud. They never let the energy get heavy enough to become physical matter. They're constantly stopping the precipitation process because they're too distracted by the Maya we talked about earlier. Let's apply this to your career and identity. When you decided to change your path, you created a mental blueprint. In the secret doctrine, this is the first step of creation. But for that blueprint to precipitate into a real business or a new role, you have to stay vibrationally consistent. I remember a specific moment in my journey when I was waiting for a major contract to close. Physically, nothing was happening. My inbox was silent. The Maya was telling me it's not working. But instead of reacting to the silence, I focused on the precipitation. I treated that contract as if it were already a solid physical fact in my reality. I didn't hope it would come. I knew it was just in the process of densifying. 2 days later, not only did that contract close, but another one appeared out of nowhere. That's not luck, it's allowing the energy to complete its cycle. This is where the principle of rhythm from the Kybalion comes in. Everything has a tide. There is a waiting period between the thought and the manifestation. If you freak out during the ebb tide, you kill the manifestation. If you are dealing with family drama or old friends who don't understand your new version, you have to realize they're just part of the old weather system. They haven't caught up to your new precipitation yet. Don't let their old, dry energy dissipate your new, fertile clouds. Keep your focus on the wetness of the success you are creating, even if the ground looks dry right now. Practical tip: stop looking for proof that your manifestations are working. The moment you look for proof, you're admitting you don't have it. If you have it in your mind, the physical world must follow. It's a law of physics. Blavatsky used to say that the universe is a plastic substance. It is waiting for you to impress your will upon it. But you must be firm. If you are indecisive, the substance stays blurry. If you are sovereign and certain, the substance hardens into your reality. The problem with money and debt is that we treat them as solid things that are hard to move. But money is the most plastic energy there is. It moves at the speed of thought. To precipitate wealth, you have to stop seeing money as something you get from the outside and start seeing it as something you release from the inside. You are the source. The money is just the precipitation of your internal sense of value. If you feel valuable, money precipitates. If you feel useless, debt precipitates. It is a perfect mathematical reflection. So how do you speed up the precipitation? By adding the 6, emotion, to the 3, thought, as Tesla suggested. Emotion is the humidity that makes the cloud heavy enough to rain. When you feel the gratitude of the result before it happens, you are effectively seeding the clouds. You are making it impossible for the universe to withhold the result from you. You are no longer trying to manifest. You are witnessing the inevitable hardening of your thoughts into things. Don't be discouraged by the time lag. The bigger the object you are precipitating, the more energy it takes to densify. A new car precipitates faster than a whole new career or a global legacy. Stay the course. Be the master of your internal atmosphere. When you stop worrying about how and when, and you simply know, the precipitation happens with a speed and a precision that will shock everyone around you. They will call it a miracle. You will know it was just a well-executed strategy. The Sovereign Initiate, your new blueprint. We have reached the most critical part of our strategic roadmap. We've deconstructed the Maya, we've learned to transmute our mental states, and we've understood the mechanics of how reality precipitates from the unseen into the seen. But all of this knowledge is useless if you don't take the final step, becoming a sovereign initiate. In the ancient traditions that Helena Blavatsky studied, an initiate wasn't just someone with a lot of information, it was someone who had undergone a death of their old self to be reborn into a new level of power. As a strategist, I see this as the ultimate rebranding of your soul. You are no longer the person who reacts to the world. You are the one who dictates the terms of engagement. The transition from a profane life, a life of struggle, hustle, and anxiety, to a sovereign life requires you to burn your old blueprint. You cannot build a skyscraper of success on a foundation of employee-level fear. I've seen so many people try to apply these ancient laws while still holding on to their identity as a victim of the economy or a product of a broken home. Blavatsky would tell you that those are just heavy layers of Maya that you must strip away. To be an initiate is to realize that your origin story doesn't matter. Your past failures don't matter. The only thing that matters is the I am that is issuing the command right now. Let's talk about the identity transition in your bank account and your business. Most people wait for the outside world to validate them. They wait for the market to say their idea is good, or for their boss to give them a raise so they can finally feel valuable. But an initiate knows that the validation must come first. You must initiate yourself into the frequency of wealth before the first dollar arrives. When I was making my move into independence, I had to stop asking the Maya for a sign. I had to become my own sign. I had to walk, talk, and make decisions with the cold, calculated certainty of someone who already held the keys to the kingdom. If you are waiting for the how before you commit to the what, you are still a slave to the reflection. A sovereign initiate decides the what and lets the how reorganize itself around their command. This is the principle of cause and effect from the Kybalion. Most people are effects of causes that happened in the past or in their environment. They are like billiard balls being knocked around by the cues of life. But a master moves up to the plane above. You become the cause. When you are the cause, you don't worry about the market trends or what your family thinks about your unrealistic dreams. You are the one setting the trend. You are the one creating the new reality for your family to witness. You have to be willing to be the weird one for a while. You have to be okay with people not understanding your piece when things look dry on the outside. That piece is the mark of an initiate. It's the knowledge that the precipitation is already underway. In your relationships, being a sovereign initiate means you stop seeking completion in others. Blavatsky taught that the soul is complete in itself. When you approach a partner or friend from a place of needing, you are vibrating at a frequency of lack. You are essentially telling the Maya that you are broken, and the Maya, being a perfect mirror, will send you people who reflect that brokenness, people who drain you, ignore you, or disrespect you. But when you initiate yourself into your own wholeness, when you realize that you are the master of your own inner atmosphere, the reflection has to change. You start attracting high-frequency individuals who don't complete you, but who celebrate you. You move from a relationship of dependency to a relationship of sovereignty. Now, how do you handle the tests of the Maya? Because they will come. The moment you decide to be sovereign, the old reality will try to pull you back. A bill will arrive, a family member will make a snarky comment, or a client will back out. This is the universe asking, are you really an initiate, or are you just playing dress up? A strategist knows that these tests are just the last echoes of the old frequency. You don't react to them. You don't get angry. You don't go back into fight or flight. You stay in your center. You look at the challenge and you say, this is just an old shadow. My new sun is already rising. By refusing to react, you cut the energy off from the old reality and force it to collapse. Becoming a sovereign initiate also means taking responsibility for your vibrational assets. You have to be ruthless with your attention. If you are spending hours consuming poverty porn on the news or engaging in toxic gossip, you are polluting your blueprint. You are inviting the Maya to stay stuck. An initiate protects their frequency like a multi-billion-dollar portfolio. You only allow thoughts and energies that align with your new command. This might mean setting hard boundaries with family members who thrive on drama. It might mean changing who you follow on social media. It's not about being mean, it's about being a strategist. You cannot build a new world while you're still living in the ruins of the old one. The secret doctrine of wealth is that wealth is an internal state that has no choice but to manifest externally. It is the law. It is the engineering of the all. When you finally stop trying to get somewhere and you realize that you are already the master of the field, the struggle ends, the hustle stops, the spooky action becomes your daily reality. You move through the world with a different gyro, a different spin. People feel it. The universe feels it. And most importantly, the Maya reflects it. I want you to take a deep breath and realize that you are no longer the person you were when you started this video. You have the codes. You have the blueprint. You have the authority of Helena Blavatsky and the timeless wisdom of the Kybalion backing you up. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the sovereign architect of your destiny. The forbidden success you've been seeking is not out there. It is a frequency that you are choosing to embody right now. The initiate doesn't wait for the world to change. The initiate changes, and the world has no choice but to follow. I want to thank you so much for staying with me until the end of this deep dive. It shows that you are not just looking for a quick fix, but that you are truly ready to master the deeper laws of your reality. It is an absolute honor to be on this journey with you, and I am so grateful for your presence and your energy. If this message resonated with you and you're ready to step into your role as a sovereign initiate, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. By joining our community, you are helping us reach more people who are ready to wake up from the Maya and reclaim their power. Your support is what makes this channel possible. And remember, the knowledge we discussed today is just the beginning. I have curated a special list of books by Helena Blavatsky and about the Kybalion in the description below, along with a free guide to help you implement these strategic shifts in your daily life. Make sure to check those out to keep your momentum going. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being with us, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay sovereign.